everyone, welcome to UGC NET Political Science classes by Drishti IAS. I am Dr. Ashwati. Students, in this class I am going to start with a new unit, that is political thought, or we can say that it is a mix of both Western and some of the political thinkers from other continents as well. And in this lecture I will be dealing with Plato, very important Greek thinker. As you know that in the last 10 years, when we look at the question papers, you find that every year they have asked questions either from Plato or Aristotle. These two thinkers are actually very important ones. So let's first understand about Plato. Plato was born in 429 BC and died in 347-348. There are some confusions about it, but yes, like 347 or 348 BC. His family was aristocratic, or we can say that he belonged to a very aristocratic family. They had good political connections as well. Execution of Socrates. So who was Socrates? Socrates was his teacher, and Socrates actually left a very deep influence in the life of Plato. So after the execution of Socrates in 399 BC, it actually came as a big shock for Plato that caused him to formulate a new way to deal with civil war and political upheaval. He thought that after he was highly shocked by the death, or let's say that the execution of Socrates, he thought that okay, there is a necessity to let's reformulate the way the political life should be, and he wanted to bring about ethics in politics, the importance of ethics. So Plato left Athens and began his travels in Greece, Egypt and Italy. Then after, Plato returned to his favorite Athens in 387 BC to where he founded the academy. Academy is a school founded by Plato. Plato's dialogues, actually most of his works are in dialogue form. So Plato's dialogues touched various aspects like philosophy, ethics, morality, politics, aesthetics, metaphysics, epistemology, cosmology, etc. So he did not limit himself to only one arena, but rather this is the same case with Aristotle also. He was also a biologist and he touched upon various aspects, political, historical and everything, mathematics as well. So Plato's dialogues or Plato's works actually touched upon various areas, and like the philosophy, ethics, politics, aesthetics, metaphysics, epistemology, cosmology, etc. These are the major works of Plato. We can say that these are in a chronological order. First work is Apology, second is Crito, third is Euthyphro, Lecis, Gorgias, Meno, Protagoras, Phaedo, Symposium, Republic, very important one. From Republic, you get to know about the idea of justice. Basically, that it is in a dialogue form where you find various characters like Glucon, Edemanthus, Polemarchus, Socrates, and many other philosophers of that period. They were having a kind of a discussion which you find in the Republic. Phaedrus, Parmenides, Theaetetus, Timaeus, Sophist, Statesman, and the very important work, Philebus, Laws, and Seventh Letter. Laws, also very important ones. Okay. So Republic, Statesman, Laws. These three works are actually very important. From the perspective of political science syllabus. Okay. But yes, it is very necessary that you have to learn the names of these works in a chronological order. Apology, Crito, Euthyphro, Lecis, Gorgias, Meno, Protagoras, Phaedo, Symposium, Republic, Phaedrus, Parmenides, Theaetetus, Temes, Sophist, Statesman, Philebus, Laws, and Seventh Letter. So please try to remember them in a chronological order so that it will be easy for your people to understand it. Such a question was actually asked in UGC NET examination to put Plato's works in a chronological order. And to understand more about his works, you can also, there are so many books actually related to Western political thought. So many books are available in the market, like the one by Sushila Ramaswamy book is also there. Apart from that, you can also read another book, and this very important one, Political Thinkers from Socrates to the Present by David Boucher and Paul Kelly. It's one of the most best book I would suggest you people for like, if you want to prepare for UGC NET examination to touch upon every aspect of political thought, you can actually read this work. Apart from that, you have another important book by Shefali Jha, and the title is Western Political Thought. This is also a the newest edition is actually covering many other thinkers as well. So you can read these two books also for preparing for UGC NET examination. And I would suggest that these two books are very important if you want to pursue PhD or research in political philosophy. These two books are actually a must read. Okay. Now, Plato's conception of justice. This is one of the most important an aspect of Plato's life. Other areas are like Plato's theory of education is there. Then after Plato's way of how this marriage and property is to be done in terms of the guardian class, so many things are there. But here, Plato's conception of justice is very important. His idea of justice, according to him, would actually be helpful in the common interest, or let's say that it will actually help in forming a just society. Specialization and interdependence. According to Shefali Jha, the very idea of Plato is based on twin concepts of interdependence and specialization. So what do you mean by specialization? And then after, so let's say that the guardian class, you have auxiliary, and third one are the producers. These three classes are there in the society or the political community, let's say. So the guardian class, they are supposed to rule. Okay, these are the rulers. They are having three kind, like there are three types of human souls discussed by Plato. So guardian class, they have this human soul of rationality. Let's say that rationality or rational, they are rational or reason. Auxiliary, those who are the warrior ones, or those who are the soldiers, or let's say that the general soldiers, etc., who are actually responsible for protecting the political community or the state from foreign invasions. Or in those days there were many invasions, annexations, and civil war situations, political upheavals. To deal with all these, you need this auxiliary class, and they are the spirited ones. Spirited ones, or let's say courage. Then after, these producers, they have this appetitive character, or let's say human soul. It clearly means these are the producers, the artisans, the merchants, farmers, etc. So I'm just writing it here. The producers are traders, farmers, merchants, artisans, like the blacksmiths or what's a goldsmith or whatsoever, who are actually the artisans, those who are into wood, like working with the wood, whether they are the producers, farmers, or like anything, they are into the, so let's say that they are into the service sector, okay, they are the producers. So their human soul is actually defined by the appetite, okay, the production ideas. Now, you can see here, this is this like these are the specialization of these. Okay, so the guardian class, they have this reason as the human soul. The auxiliary are the spirited ones, or they are the courageous one, and the producers, they are the appetitives. The appetite, they have this appetite character of their human soul. Now, this is the specialization. Okay, each and every class has got a specialization. The next point is about the interdependence. These two classes, they are dependent actually upon the producers. Guardian class, they are there to rule, to give justice in the society, or let's say that they're to give justice or to create a just order in the political community. You need this guardian class. They are there as the policy makers, decision makers. They are the most rational minded people. At the second level of this auxiliary class, they have the they are actually having the duty to save the state from external invasions, as well as to deal with the political upheavals that are there in the political community. And this producer class, they are supposed to provide them with the services to these two classes. Here, Plato has given the idea of theory of forms, allegory of caves, and then after the divided line. These are very important ones. The divided line was actually initiated by Socrates. So, what was the reason why he created this theory of forms, etc.? So, according to Plato, this is highly associated with the idea of the philosopher king. He wanted the ruler should be a philosopher king. And why philosopher king? Because that is the person with the idea, that person is only capable of interpreting the nature of justice. So political ills, or let's say that the political upheavals, chaos, violence, all these things can be eradicated if knowledgeable people are at the helm of the city-state's politics. He wanted that a perfectly trained philosopher king, because he had designed a special, let's say that a very interesting educational system for this guardian class, because he mandated that the guardian class are not supposed to have a family. They are not supposed to have a property. They will be living in a common property like barracks or somewhere. And they are actually, when you are devoid of family, when you are devoid of the property, your only duty is to rule. And here, this guardian class has got this, they will be given a perfect training. Like, he was highly, influenced by the Spartans. And Plato wanted that there should be a strict regimental education to be imparted to this guardian class, so that their rational mind can be developed. And among these rational people, they can actually select their philosopher king. So when your king is a philosopher king, he is having, he or she is endowed with the reason as well as having this perfect virtue of justice, then it will actually bring justice to the political community. So they are the ones who have this knowledge of ideas of good, justice, then after beauty, truth, and courage. So this is the reason why he thought that you need to have philosopher king at the helm of the city-state politics. So republic is the story of what sort of society such a philosopher would produce if he were to acquire political power and become a philosopher king. So you have a regimental type of education system to be imparted to people, and they had layers up to 50 years, right from your childhood to that of the 50 years. You have to undergo various types of educational system, like you will be taught these things about your ethics, you will be taught about various aspects, and it is going to be like a kind of, your whole life is like a learning procedure. On marriage and property, guardian class were not allowed to have family, but rather than that, they had this festival, like, that there will be a kind of a yearly festival also where you can actually, like, that the people from the guardian class where can engage with each other, and the children produce, they are also actually taken away from the mothers, so that, like, it will be a kind of a, what we say, yes, it is an utopian idea. Obviously, the mothers will be separated from their own children and they will be given others children, and in this common nursery all these children will grow and they will be given proper training, and the training is to rule. That is the guardian class. They will comprise this guardian class. So republic is the story of what sort of society such a philosopher king or philosopher would produce if he were to acquire the political power and become a philosopher king. And the allegory of caves and theory of forms, these are very interesting lines. Let's say that this is somewhere we can actually understand about. Let's say there is a wall. Okay. So behind, like on the other side, we have the common life. Here, the people are actually chained. People are living here in a chained situation. They are living in darkness. They don't know what is happening on the other side. But if you show something, or if you may, let's say, tell the people, they can overhear the people, okay, these things are happening. But such things are not happening because these people are behind this wall. They are not able to understand. They are not the enlightened ones. Once they actually break the shackles and they see the enlightenment, then only they can actually get that freedom. Okay, so this is the allegory of caves. When you are inside a cave and you are at the darker and you don't know the realities of the world, when you come out, then you can actually, through your sense organs, you can actually understand them. And the theory of forms, according to Plato, whatever exists in our surroundings, they are the imperfect copy of the purest things which actually exist in the transcendental realm. There is something which is there is something called, like, when you look at things and you find that, okay, this is the truth. No, according to Plato, whatever we see or whatever exists in this world, actually entity that exists in our world is an imperfect copy of the form of that thing exists in the transcendental realm, and only a philosopher or a person with reason can actually explore, or that person is capable of interpreting the real beauty or the real knowledge. So these forms can only be seen by the persons or the person with the rational mind, and this rational mind is not something that when you are a girl, when you actually take birth, you get that rational mind. No, it is through a proper training according to Plato. Now, this is a question that was asked in UGC NET examination. Arrange chronologically the texts of Plato in ascending order: Apology, Republic, Laws, and Statesman. So, here our answer is C, A, B, D, C. A is Apology, B is Republic, D Statesman, and the final one is Laws. I have already mentioned about it here. So the question came from here. One is Apology, second is Republic, then after you have Statesman, then Laws. So you can check it out here. Okay. Apology, Republic, Statesman, then Laws. This is the reason why I emphasize that you have to learn the texts written by these thinkers in a chronological manner. And students, this is one of the most important aspect also. For every political thinker given in your UGC NET syllabus, go through their works, put it in a kind of a, my idea or my advice is that get one copy, write down the major works of each and every thinker. Every day flip through the pages, because some 10 days before examination you won't be able to learn them, or you won't be able to memorize them that easily. So every day, like next examination that will happen by the end of this year, so students, you have to be better prepared. Write down the names of the books of these thinkers in a chronological manner. Devote each one page for each thinker, then flip through the pages every day, and it will actually help you to crack at least one question. It's very important, not just for Western political thought or this political thought, but also for Indian political thought, also for IR, comparative political analysis. There are so many scholars. There are so many scholars in the syllabus. So you have to be better prepared. Okay. Next question. Theory of form and allegory of caves is related to which among the following thinkers? You know the best answer, and that is Plato. So in this class, we have discussed about Plato's idea of justice. We have discussed about the theory of forms and various aspects associated with Plato's theories. So students, you have to prepare Plato, Aristotle, all these thinkers in a very good manner, because these questions are asked every year. In every UGC NET examination, you find some or the other question related to these political thinkers from the antiquity period, or let's say the Greek period. So students, thank you for watching my video. See you in another lecture.